Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Vishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Manchakapatruvyascha Kripasindhu Devacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah. Hey Krishna Karana Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Takta Ganchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Krishna Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasari Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So welcome everyone to our Sunday program, Sunday feast program. Let's see, do we have any of you are coming here for the first time? Special welcome. We hope you'll feel welcome to come not just once. From? Oh, very nice. My apologies for not speaking Slovenian or Croatian. But if you'll bear with me, I'll try to read the Slovenian translation of one verse. It's a famous verse of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 10, verse 9. This is one of the 4 verses which together are known as the Chatur Shloki, the 4 verses, essential 4 verses of the Bhagavad Gita. This is the second one, chapter 10, verse 9. The Sanskrit goes like this: Mat chitta mat gata prana bodhayanta parasparam katayantascha maham nityam tushanti cha ramanti cha. And let's see what we can do with the translation. Don't mind. Moi chisti bhakte smerai mislio name in Jehova življenja so posvečena moji službi. Nenehno pa učujejo drug drugega in se pogovarjajo o meni. I'm not done yet. Prichemer uživajo veliko zadovoljstvo. In blaženost. Such a sweet language. Okay, I thought this is a nice starting point for our topic, our ongoing topic this month, which is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. We're preparing for his appearance this coming Wednesday, right? Wednesday? Wednesday. The verse is describing what devotees of Krishna do. What do devotees of Krishna do? How do they spend their time? Essentially, they enliven each other. Bodhayanta, this comes from the verbal root Buddha, which in Sanskrit means to awaken. And Bodhayanta means to causing awakening. And it's Bodhayanta Parasparam. Parasparam is a kind of cool word because of the way it sounds and what it means. It means mutually, it means each other. What do devotees do? They enliven each other, they awaken each other. With respect to what? With respect to what Srila Prabhupada so many times called Krishna consciousness. We all are conscious beings, and there's there's a great mystery about consciousness. What exactly is it? And no matter how much one tries to reduce consciousness to some kind of mechanical functioning of the brain, for example. In fact, it's never reducible like that. And why is that? Because we understand that consciousness is the very foundation of existence. It's not what's called an epiphenomenon. It's not that there is matter, gross matter, and then somehow out of this gross matter's increasing complexity we get consciousness. No, we don't subscribe to that idea. Rather, we say it works the other way around. First there is consciousness, and out of consciousness comes everything. The whole world is actually arising out of the consciousness of persons, and ultimately from a supreme person. And that supreme person is identified in the Vedic literature, especially in this work, Bhagavad Gita, as Krishna, and he goes by other names. So, Bodhayanta Parasparam, awakening each other to Krishna consciousness. And how do they do this? Katayantascha mam nityam. Nitya means perpetually or constantly. It can mean also daily, every day. It can also mean eternal. So in any case, constantly or perpetually or daily, the devotees are engaged in kata. Kata means story-telling, narrative. And they do this because mat-citta, because of having their consciousness in the Lord. They are directing their consciousness to the Lord and connecting all things of this world with the Lord. That is called mat-citta. And then mat-gata prana. Prana means life, and gata means having gone. Their lives having been dedicated to me, Mat, Krishna. So these kind of persons, what do? Katayanta, they engage in speaking, and in this way they enliven each other. And there's a very nice double result to this. Tushyanti cha ramanti cha. Tushyanti means they are satisfied, and ramanti means they are pleased, they are delighted. What's the Slovenian word for delight? Radost. Radost. Radosten. There we go. Radosten. Pričemer uzivajo veliko zadovoljstvo in blaženost. Anyway. Yeah, blaženost, blissfulness. Huh? Okay. Okay, that's kind of, in a nutshell, we could say, this is giving in sort of in the form of a seed, I would suggest. This is my little claim, my argument today, is that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is embodying in his entire life. We might say, if you wanted to be a little more specific, especially in his later life, embodying this verse. What does Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do? He lives with other devotees. They live in a place called Puri, Jagannath Puri, and they visit the temple of Lord Jagannath every day. And what do they do there? They have darshan, and they chant and dance. And another, I think I spoke about this some days ago, and another thing that they do, Lord Chaitanya with his closer associates, they sit together sometimes on the bank of one sort of lake in Puri. They sit there and they read together, or they recite, reading and reciting. What do they read and recite? They read the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Bhagavata Purana. And then we read in Chaitanya Charitamrita how very often Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, hearing verses from this Srimad Bhagavatam, telling the katha, the descriptions of Krishna's pastimes, he would become very excited. And sometimes he would become so excited that he would go unconscious. And other times he would jump up and he would dance with abandon. So many descriptions are there. So this is the idea. We read the Bhagavad Gita, and Krishna tells us something which is a little abstract. It's a little bit, okay, sounds good, but who's doing it? Who cares? Well, the point that we learn from the life of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is that he's actually doing this. He's demonstrating what it's like, and he's showing how blissful, how much blaženost there is in the process. I mentioned the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and as many of you know, Chaitanya Charitamrita is a very important, many would say the most important of the biographies of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And there are several biographies in various forms and in different languages. The early biographies, the very first was composed by Murari Gupta, and what's interesting in this case is that Murari Gupta was a personal friend of Lord Chaitanya in childhood. They actually grew up together. And it's possible that they didn't have so much association in their early life, but it seems that when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu returned from his visit to Gaya, this very famous event in the life of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as a young man he went to Gaya, and he came back practically a different person. He came back just so intensely absorbed in Krishna Bhakti that he really had trouble. We would say nowadays, he had difficulty holding a job. He had a job. He was a teacher. He was a master of Sanskrit learning, and apparently very accomplished, but he couldn't really concentrate on his teaching very well after this. So at this time, Murari Gupta becomes attentive. He realizes this Vishvambara, as he's known at this time, has become such an amazing person, and so he pays a lot of attention to him. Later, other writers took up the task. One of these you may know is Vrindavan Das Thakur, who was the, let's see if I get it right, the nephew of, I always get these relations mixed up, Narayani. He was the son of Narayani, who was the niece, that's it, of Srivas Thakur. Okay, yeah, so he was a little boy when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was present, but he did have some direct, minimal, but he had some direct encounter with Lord Chaitanya. And another young person who had direct, if brief, interaction with Lord Chaitanya was Kavi-Karnapura, who grew up as Paramananda Sena, the son of Shivananda Sena. Shivananda was the devotee who used to be the tour guide. He used to manage the travel arrangements for the devotees going from Bengal to Puri every year. So there's his son, Paramananda Sena, received a kind of benediction from Lord Chaitanya when one day he pronounced, to everyone's surprise, a verse in perfect Sanskrit, although he was a very young boy, 7 years old or something. And so he was given the name Kavi-Karnapura. Kavi means poet. Karnapura, one who fills the ears whose ears are filled with nectar or who fills ears. And Karnapura indeed eventually became quite an amazing author in Sanskrit language of two books about Lord Chaitanya. And one of these books is actually a drama. And it's a drama in 10 acts. And it's a kind of allegorical. An allegory is a story where you have certain characters who are kind of symbolic figures. So, for example, in the beginning of the drama, there is personified Kali, and there's personified irreligion, and they're having a conversation, and they're very worried. I believe it's Kali in particular who's worried that now there's going to be some interruption of his task. What is his task? It is to spread trouble throughout the world during this age in which we presently live, called the age of Kali, Kali Yuga. He's worried because Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared. And of course there's a bit of irony here. The devotees, when we hear about this, we feel very joyful. Yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared, and he is indeed stopping the activities of Kali. Other figures, allegorical figures that appear in this work called Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nataka, it are Maitri, friendship, and prema bhakti, love of God, devotion, pure devotion. And they are conversing, in a sense, on the side of the stage, so to speak, of the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I wanted to give you let's see how it goes with the time, 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 samples of verses from this work, just to give you some idea and also to relate to our topic of how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so special as the perfect embodiment of this verse that Krishna speaks in the Bhagavad Gita. So I want to read the Sanskrit because, as I mentioned, Karnapura was a very talented Sanskrit poet, and I think you'll appreciate this just by hearing. I'll try to read these lines. He uses a lot of what is called alliteration in English, which means playing with the sounds of the Sanskrit, sometimes repeating the same sound in different playful ways. And this is one of the kind of major points of the drama. In English we have the word drama, and there's another word we use for drama, and that is play. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is engaging in transcendental play, and that's brought out particularly in Act number 3, in which this first verse comes. Actually, 3 of them I have here. In Act 3, we get a play within a play, a drama within a drama. If you've ever seen Hamlet, Shakespeare's Hamlet, anybody seen or read? Yes, you get it in school. So there's a drama there's a drama within the drama, right? So also we get a drama within a drama in Act 3. This verse is from the Sutradhara. The Sutradhara is the director of this play within a play. And the person who's playing the Sutradhara is Haridas Thakur. Okay? And he's speaking to his assistants, the Pariparshvaka. And what does he say? He says, Alaukika Kilalokikiyam Lila Harer Eti Rasayanatham Lilaavataranu Katatimripi Vishvasya Shishtyadi Katar Palitni. What does that mean? The translation I have here goes like this. Lord Hari's pastimes on earth are sweeter than his pastimes in Vaikuntha, in the spiritual world. The stories of his pastime incarnations are very sweet. And the stories of his creation of the universes are dry and tasteless. So the verse is making a contrast between two different types of kata, and it's, in a sense, inverting the usual expectation. Alaukikita kilalokikiyam. Lokika, alaukika. Alaukika-prema means transcendental, unworldly, alaukika. Lokika means worldly. So the verse is saying his worldly activities are more relishable than his otherworldly activities. Okay, so this is hinting at expressing the appreciation that when the Lord comes to this world, that's a lot more interesting than his eternal pastimes play in the spiritual world. Okay? So this is in preparation for Krishna, for this play within a play, which is going to be a little pastime in Vrindavan, and it's going to be observed by Narada Muni, who is being played by Srivas Thakur. Remember, Srivas Thakur is Narada Muni. So Narada is playing the part of the person who has requested the drama to take place. He says, let's have a drama. And they say, okay, let's have a drama. Why not? And where is it going to take place? In Vrindavan. Why? Because it's going to be the pastimes of Radha and Krishna. Now, who's going to play the parts of Radha and Krishna? Well, guess who? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu plays the part of Radha, and Advaitacharya plays the part of Krishna. Now, Advaitacharya, you remember, we have the Murti of Advaitacharya on the altar. He's usually shown with a long beard and white hair. Whether he had the long beard and the white hair when he was playing Krishna, I cannot say. But as they come on stage, Prema Bhakti remarks to Maitri, to friendship, who are hiding off stage to watch the drama. And it turns out, Kavi Karnapura, he has several layers of observers. He has Narada and his assistant, and then he has the Sutradhar and his assistant, and then he has Prema Bhakti, and Maitri. So 3 levels. And they're all hiding. They all say, let's hide to watch. And the question comes also, who is going to be qualified to watch this drama? And it turns out very few people are going to be qualified. It's just a few friends of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and their family. So it's a very, very intimate thing, and all these people are hiding to watch. And Prema Bhakti, speaking to Maitri when she sees Krishna and Radha appear on stage, says, Krishna Krishnatvam vraditum asamartho hi bhavati svayam Krishno nana kriti samartha kila bhavet grihitum yogyasya avayava kalapam hyavayavi gatankaram dattam avayava vishesho vayavitam. Which means she's speaking to Maitri, a person who is not Krishna cannot become Krishna. Krishna can assume many forms. He, the Supreme Whole, can assume the form of any of his parts and parcels. But how can one of his parts and parcels assume the form of him, the whole? Okay, so Prema Bhakti is making a kind of philosophical, theological point here. And she is also appreciating that the person who is playing the part of Krishna must actually be Krishna. And it's emphasized again and again that it's not really that one is playing the part of someone else. No. Advaita Acharya is Krishna, so he is playing his own part. And similarly, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu playing the part of Srimati Radharani is not playing a part. He is Srimati Radharani, and therefore the performance is not just a play. It's not just, like we do, an artificial thing. In fact, it's exactly the inverse. The point that Kavi Karnapura is making is that what's going on in this particular event, a play within a play, that is the real thing. That's the super reality. And then everything else, what we all experience in ordinary life, no, that's not reality. We are all playing different parts, right? We are, putting on different masks for different people, trying to impress in this way and in this way. And so we have actually the Greek word persona, originally meant mask. It was from the Greek drama. So we all go around with our various masks. But here what's happening is that there is an unmasking to get to the real thing, what's really happening. That is being described. Okay, already the time is ending. Should I read one more verse?
Yes.
Okay, one more verse. Shishi Panchatattva Ki. All right, this verse is spoken by Krishna, or, so to speak, Advaita Acharya. But who is Advaita Acharya? He's actually Krishna, right? So now he's speaking, and he's speaking as he is looking at Radha. Okay? This is in Sardula Vikridita meter. Shotiryam smarabu pater madumado lavanya lakshmasmaya sovadyasya vinodabur madurimo lasyasya hasashriya advaitam gunasampadam upanishat keli vilasa vale keyam lochana chandikachaya chamat karascha korikshana. Okay, this is Krishna. He's seeing Radha. He says a series of rhetorical questions. Is this Kamadeva's chivalrous power? Or the passion of spring? Or the goddess of beauty's smile? Or the pastime place of good fortune? Or the sweetness of bliss? Or the smile of the goddess of fortune? Or the impersonal Brahman, whose glories are described in the Upanishads? Or the pastimes of the goddess of playfulness? Who is this girl? Her chakora bird eyes filled with wonder to see the moonlight of my eyes. So this is a very romantic expression. There's a little play on words here, actually, because the verse includes the word Advaitam, and this is Advaitacharya who is asking, is this Advaita? So there's a lot of this kind of play in the language, and more broadly, as I said, you might say the overall point of this play of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from Kavi Karnapura is that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is playing his original drama, which is that which is described throughout the literature, the biography of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and so on. And what is he doing? He's demonstrating what he would like us to do. He's showing that it's possible to do something that is what can bring us to the real world of Krishna consciousness, and that is Matchita, Matkata Prana, Bodhayanta, Parasparam, Katayantas Chamam Nityam, Tushanticha Ramanticha, Moi Chisti Bhakte Smerai Mislio Nama, in Nihova Jivjenya Soposvechena Moi Službi. Nene no paučujejo drugega in se pogovarjajo o meni, pri čemer uživajo veliko zadovoljstvo in blaženost. Hare Krishna. Okay, I think that's sufficient for the moment, unless there's some question or comment. Otherwise, we will have Kirtan and Arati. Yes, Jyotirmay.
You mentioned that Kali in this play of Kavi Karnapura was like allegorical person. So what is the actual status of Kali's person or not person?
Well, I think we all have experience of Kali, his influence. Is he, what sort of status does he have? Well, it's a little mysterious, but in any case, the idea of it being a person, I think, helps us to understand there is a sense of danger. It reflects the understanding that everything is personal, meaning everything goes back. If we talk of consciousness, then behind the consciousness is always a person. So on some level, also, there appears to be a kind of spirit of the age. And behind the spirit, they speak in German of a Zeitgeist, the spirit of the times. So the spirit of the times, measured in longer terms, we're speaking here of, thousands of years, is that it's a time of degradation. And there's a sense that there is some intentionality behind this, that it's not just a sort of mechanical process, that we come to a certain period of time cycle and then, well, it just happens. No, there's a sense that in everything that happens there is intentionality. So my brain doesn't grasp how there may be a person named Kali, but then my brain doesn't grasp very much. Demigods, Indra, we understand, is sending this snow right now. How does that work? Well, don't ask me. I don't know. All we know is there's snow coming on the 24th of March. Strange. Climate change. Actually, it's been climate change for the last 5,000 years. Spiritual climate change. Anyway, yeah, it's an interesting question. I can't give a thoroughly definitive answer to it. But in the context of Kavi Karnapura's drama, because the whole drama is structured as an allegory, so the person of Kali may be taken as a sort of, we may say, fictional character. Fitting, as I would say again with this point, that in the center of the drama there is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he is utterly real, and all that he does is utterly real. So when he plays a part in a drama, that's the reality. And so everything else is less real than that. Yeah. Is that all right? Okay. So, questions from, yes?
Krishna and Bhagavad Gita say, always remember me and never forget me. What is the difference? What is the difference between?
What's the difference between always remembering and never forgetting? There's no difference. And that's why it's a little bit of a joke. Actually, it's not, that statement is not directly in the Gita. That statement is in the Haribhakti Vilasa, Smartavya Satatam Vishnor Vismartavyo Na Jatuchit Sarve Vidhi Nishedhasyur Etayoreva Kinkara. There are two injunctions. One is to always remember Krishna or Vishnu, and the other is to never forget Krishna or Vishnu. What's the difference between always remembering and never forgetting? There's no difference. And therefore, it's actually just one injunction. And the nice thing about this injunction is stated in the second half of the verse. Sarve vidhi nishedha sur etayoreva kinkara. All the various rules that you'll find, and if you look, you don't have to look very hard, you can find lots and lots and lots and lots of rules in our tradition, but they're all meant for one purpose. They all have the position of being kinkara, all being servants to this one rule, which is here described as two rules. And that's what that means is actually life is quite simple for the Hare Krishnas. All they have to remember is always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. But then to do that, it turns out, is not as easy as it sounds. And so we do all the things that we do, such as chanting Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. What would a Sunday feast lecture be without ending on this point? Yes, okay. Thank you all very much. Is there some announcement to be made? After the kirtan. Okay. Thank you all very much. Shri Shri Bhakti Tattva Ki Jai.